Welcome to Booked, Busy, and Building, the podcast for dreamers, doers, and everyday people making it happen. Whether you're building a business, a mindset, or a better version of yourself, this is your space to stay grounded, get inspired, and keep growing no matter how full your calendar gets. So if you're chasing your dreams and figuring it out as you go, this is your space to stay motivated and keep building. So tune in every week for new episodes. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Booked, Busy, and Building. Today we are talking all about how to raise your hand before you're ready. And I'm very excited for this episode, but I got the inspiration actually from another podcast that I was listening to where the host randomly said this quote that really stood out to me, which was raise your hand before you're ready. And out of that entire 45-minute episode that I was listening to, she literally said like this one line, and then that just has stuck with me ever since. And it really made me think, like, how can we dive more into this line? How can we find these opportunities? Why are they so important? And how can you step into them even if you feel like you are not ready? And there's a moment that we all face usually right before every breakthrough moment of our life where we don't feel ready or qualified or even confident enough within ourselves to just go out and do the thing. But it is this moment that matters the most, because it truly feels like are you going to dive in or not? Are you going to jump off? And essentially, like, there's this other quote that I also really love, which is build the plane while you're flying it. Even if you're not ready, can you still step up to the plate and do it even if you don't know anything? No one ever feels ready to say yes to the thing that can potentially change their life. So you just have to raise your hand anyway and do it. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about why waiting until you finally feel ready is actually holding you back, how opportunities actually find you, and why being booked, busy, and building requires action before confidence shows up. And before we get into the bulk of today's episode, I want to introduce a new weekly segment that I'm going to be doing in the beginning of each episode called the Booked, Busy, and Building Check-In, because success is not just about the highlight reels and these really big moments that we're seeing online. It is also about what is happening in real time and what we are all doing. And I want you guys to ask yourself these same questions. How are you staying booked, busy, and building? So number one, what opportunities are you stepping into this week, and how are you staying booked? What is taking up your time and energy right now, and what is keeping you busy? And lastly, what are you intentionally working towards for your future self and building? And we are doing this to normalize the process of all of the juggling, all of the uncertainty, and most importantly, all of these small wins that add up. So as you listen to this episode, or even as you get to the end of it, I want you to answer these questions. Write them out in a journal, write them out on your phone. I want this segment to be your weekly reminder to not be afraid to send the email, to apply for the opportunity, to post the content, or make the first move. You don't need to just listen and consume media or content all of the time. You can also participate and take a step in. For me, an opportunity that I'm stepping into this week and how I'm staying booked is by sending out an email pitch for a company that I really love and admire, and I want to possibly do contractor work for them. So yesterday I made a deck on Canva, some ideas that I want to bring to the brand. I sent out my email pitches, and I did see that they opened the email, so that was kind of the opportunity that I'm stepping into. That's the energy that I'm bringing. And something that is taking up my time and energy right now to keep me busy is a new book club that I just launched through my media company, Valdez Agency. We are currently reading The Alter Ego Effect, and I've been learning so much from it, which I'm going to dive into later in this episode. But I'm going to put the link to join the virtual book club. It's totally free in the episode notes. It's also in my Instagram and my TikTok bio if you are interested, but we are learning such valuable advice from it. And lastly, something I'm intentionally working towards for my future self and building is my podcast. So over the last week and a half, I've been doing a ton of podcast research, finding new equipment, and figuring out how to level up my podcast, because it is something that I see being really big in the future with a full studio and a setup and all of these different things. So I'm working on some really fun behind the scenes things, and this little segment is definitely a part of one of those things to just level up the podcast. So now that we got all of that covered, make sure that you answer these questions yourself either now or before the end of the episode. So now let's dive into the actual episode. Number one is clarity comes after action, not before. So most people are going to wait to feel ready and clear and confident right before they make a move. They're going to wait for this right moment, or they're going to wait for a sign or something to just tell them in big, bold words or letters like you can do it or just do it. But I promise you, like that moment where you see this thing, or if you're constantly waiting for that moment, it is never going to come, because you are going to get clarity by actually doing things. And that is something that I feel like not a lot of people understand, because as you learn, as you fall, as you get back up and then you fall and you try again, you are learning new things that you did not know before. You're gaining experiences that you didn't have before, and you're using all of that to decide, do I go left, right, up, down, etc. Like, you are using what you're learning and then you're moving. You're making moves based off of those things. And confidence is not gained by thinking or constantly planning. Like, you literally gain that by just showing up in the moment and doing the thing. And I cannot tell you guys how many times I would make plans and different sheets and all these super detailed outlines of like my next move and things that I wanted to do. And all of that planning is essentially procrastination. Like, it genuinely does not do anything for you. How are you ever going to see where you can go if you are always just making new ideas and making plans and never going through with it? Taking action is what gives you feedback. That gives you direction and almost like this self-trust of, I'm doing the thing, let me take another step, let me go another step further, etc. And if you're building a podcast or creating content or putting something out there in the world, it needs to actually make it out so you can hear what people want or what they need. When I was starting out with creating content, I tried all kinds of content and videos to see what would work for people. What do people want to see? What do they like? And when I had some videos start to do well in the beginning of TikTok, like when it was first coming out and stuff, I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to keep doing. And then that became my corner of the internet. So over the years, all of my interests and my hobbies and my life, obviously all of those things have changed, and my content has definitely been reflective of that. But if I would have never posted my first videos, then how would I know what people would have liked or wanted? And the same can be applied for you and your life. You are not going to get feedback or direction without putting yourself out there. Every attempt that you do, whether it is big or small or whatever it is, that is helping you see what works and then what doesn't. But it is literally the attempts and showing up and trying that matters. So take action. That creates clarity. Stop over planning. Stop making notes and outlines and to-do lists, and just work with what you have and start from there and watch how far you're going to get. Number 2 is opportunities go to the visible, not the perfect. So if you've ever had this thought where you're scrolling on social media and you see that somebody has accomplished something that you wanted, whether it is buying a house, starting a podcast, working with a specific brand that you want to work with, or maybe you see somebody in person that has the car or the bag that you want, like whatever it is. Our first thought is typically, how did they get this? How did someone like this make this happen? What is happening to them? Or there's no room for me to get this thing. Like, there is this immediate jealousy, and you are going to start putting the other person down to try to make yourself feel better. And I will be honest, like, I used to have those thoughts as well in those moments. Like, that is literally the only way that I'm able to know all these things, is because I used to be the exact same way. And there was a time in my life where I would have these thoughts, but it was because I was hiding and I was not putting myself out there when I should have been. I wanted to be a content creator, but I never posted. I wanted to have my own business, never did the research on anything about an LLC or what even I wanted my business to be. I wanted to work for this company, never applied for the job. Like, I was seeing all of these things happening around me, and I wanted these things to happen to me, but how could it happen if I was not putting myself out there and never making myself visible? So the thing is, opportunities are going to go to people that are making themselves known and visible, and they're putting themselves out there. They're not perfect, but they're trying, and that is worth 100 times more than the person that is still sitting with the video in their drafts, or the application waiting to be filled out, or with the email sitting in their inbox that still has not been sent out. You do not need to be the best, because being seen is what matters more than being flawless or perfect or trying to execute something amazing on the first try. You just have to be doing things every day to get the needle moving closer, and then you're slowly going to start chipping away at your big goals. But the goals are going to continue to feel big and scary and even unachievable at times if you are not working towards them in small chunks. How can you expect to run a marathon if you signed up the day before and you didn't do any training? How can you expect your life to go towards a certain route if you are not doing the things every single day to get you to where you want to be? If you want to hit a goal in the gym, you're not going to hit the biggest weight on day one. You're going to work your way up. If you want to be a content creator, you're not just going to hit 100,000 followers off of one video. You're going to post every day, little by little, learn new editing stuff styles, pitch yourself to brands, apply to campaigns and more, and then you're slowly going to get comfortable in front of the camera and everything will add up. But the thing is, like, all of these things are going to take years. Like, it's not going to happen immediately or one after the other. Like, it is not going to happen even in the matter of 1 year or 2 years. And that's the thing, is people don't want to play the waiting game. They want everything to happen immediately, but that is just not how life works. And all the things that we want, it can happen 100%, but it is not going to happen immediately. And it's not going to happen, especially if you are hiding yourself and being tucked away from the world. Like, the biggest brands in the world, or the biggest people that are known in the world, have gotten to where they are today by going against the norm and the status quo, and by doing things that are different from what other people are doing. Being silent and being away or being hidden, that is going to make you truthfully like forgettable. And if you are posting once in a blue moon, how are you going to expect people to know you as a content creator? If you want to read more, but you keep choosing scrolling in bed at night, how will you become a reader? How are you going to read more books? Like, visibility is a skill. You have to work on it, but it requires you to keep showing up and putting yourself out there, even in a situation where you may not be super comfortable. But once you do that, watch just how much your world can change. Tip number 3 is you are more ready than you think. I think this is one of the most important tips in this episode, because a lot of us think that we need more time, we aren't ready yet, we need another sign, we need another week or two, when it's like, you are ready and you are more ready than you think. So throw all of that out the window and genuinely just go. Like, press the gas, go fully in, because you are underestimating yourself and just how much you already know. If you already have these dreams and these goals and this vision for yourself, why do you think that you are not capable of just going out and starting the thing? If you are already one step ahead of most, or even if you're not, just do it regardless, because number one, you have nothing to lose, and number two, you have everything to gain. Experience will compound faster once you are in the rooms that you should be in, the environments that will benefit you, and making the connections that will help you get to where you want to be faster are things that are only going to happen once you start putting yourself out there. You don't need mastery. Like, you just need to get honest with yourself. Are you ready to do this? Whatever the thing it is that you want to do, whether it's quitting your job or going full time on something, posting the video in your drafts, cold email pitching yourself to your dream company, sending the LinkedIn message, like whatever it is, you are going to get there, but it is required to first step into that version. Being in these rooms is what is going to get you closer, but you cannot do this if you are not jumping and taking that leap towards getting yourself there. Whatever your thing is, whatever it is that you want to do, you are not going to get there if you are not learning and trying and putting yourself in situations where, even if you're a little bit scared, you can actually learn so much from it. So just go all in with whatever it is that you want to do, and things are going to figure itself out as you go. I used to think that if I don't take a rational step or the more practical step, or if I don't think realistically, then my life is not going to go the way it is that I want to be. Like, I have to just follow what everybody else is doing. But that is not how you live the life it is that you want. Like, it is your life for a reason. No one on this earth is the same. We are all different. We all want different things. We all want to experience different things. How are you going to get to your dream life or do the things it is that you want if you are just following behind everybody else and you're too scared to step into your own energy? Number 4 is fear is a sign that you're expanding. So I really, really love this tip, because being scared of what you're doing, it doesn't mean that you need to stop. This is actually a sign that you are growing, because you're entering new heights, you're doing things you've never done before, and you are just going to be reaching these new levels. So it's obviously going to feel scary, but fear is often going to show up right before we are going to level up and right before we take this new step in life. And more specifically, it is going to come during this moment. Like, a lot of us think, why am I getting fear right now? Why am I being scared right now? Like, it is coming in those moments, because that is going to be the indicator and the factor in, are we ready or not to take this next step? There have been so many times, like I just said, where I've been scared to leave a job or go somewhere new or reach out to someone. And I promise you, 9 times out of 10, something even better has come out from the other side when I took that leap of faith, even when I was really, really scared. And I would have never known if I didn't take that jump and just do it anyway, regardless, with the fear. I am someone that grew up very practical and rational and very realistic and very just like, I don't like to do things the wrong way, when really there is no wrong way when you're going towards your dreams and your goals. But because that is something that I did not see growing up and I didn't see it around me, I was always like, okay, this is the traditional career path that I have to take. I have to go to college even though I'm going to graduate with debt. I need to get the office job, make sure it's a good salary, stay for the health and the insurance benefits. Then as I scale up, get married, have kids, a family, etc., like all these different things. But when I realized that I didn't want the traditional path, even if it meant more sleepless nights, more worrying, and being a little bit more uncomfortable, it has driven me to insane amounts of growth, to the point where I'm now 23 and the things that I've accomplished and experienced or done are things that the 13-year-old me could have never imagined I'd be doing 10 years later. And when I say that I didn't see people around me or things around me serve the example of people going after their dreams and goals, I did not see that physically in my life. But when I would watch shows and movies and things on Disney Channel and all of these different things like on TV, and I saw people doing these cool things, that was what really gave me the inspiration of like, I can go out there and do something. Like Hannah Montana, Starstruck, like all these different things, like seeing movies and shows like that of people just living their dreams and doing cool things and just living kind of like this above average life, that excited me, because I was like, what if that could be me one day? Like, what if I could go out and do something really cool like this? And so comfort is going to keep you average. Like if you want an above average life, you got to do above average things. And being nervous or being scared to take that next step, it doesn't mean that you're not capable or you're not ready. Because that's the thing, is like, I feel like a lot of us confuse being scared with maybe we are not ready. But in order to get to this next level, you're sometimes just going to have to put that aside just a little bit, or even learn to conquer it as you level up, because fear, it's never going to fully go away. It is just going to come and meet you in different points of your life and be shown in different ways. So it's really about like, how are you going to handle it? What are you going to choose to do in these situations? Are you going to stay or are you going to keep going? Number 5 is saying yes changes your identity. So when you say yes to new opportunities and you think about the how and all of the steps later, you are taking one step closer to who you want to become and who you are going to become. Instead of being the person who doesn't raise their hand and they just sit back and watch everybody else, you are now going to become the person that says yes, and you are going to just go with whatever comes your way. Sometimes, of course, you have to think, obviously, like, is this worth it? Is this worth my time? Because not every opportunity is going to be worth it, but you are most likely going to learn something new, which is going to be really, really important. Like for me, for example, I have been to a ton of events and really cool things in New York as a content creator, but there have been events and things that I've been to where I don't think this was worth me going. I don't know if this was worth my time. And even though in the moment I didn't really enjoy those events, I learned something from going to those things where I'm like, I do not want to do this again. And next time I get an email about this, I will just kindly decline, or I will just say, I'm not really interested in going. Obviously in a kind way. But it's like, how would I have known that I didn't want to go to something like that if I would have never went in the first place? So that in the future, I know what exactly I want to do. And when I say yes to things that scare me, like speaking on a panel or trying a new content style, taking on a new type of project, etc., like that is another learning thing for me. Like I can learn afterwards. I can do things that scare me. And so all of these experiences, like whether you categorize it as good or bad, you are going to learn something regardless. So say yes, and then afterwards decide, like, how did this make you feel? And my sister and I talk about this all the time too, because there's things where she's like, should I do this? Should I do that? And I'm like, yeah, do it. Why not? And then whether it goes according to plan or not, then she can decide, okay, in the future, if I get this opportunity again, will I decline it or will I say yes? But now that you have the experience, you can really decide a lot better. And one yes, like just having one yes in your life can rewrite how you see yourself and your potential. Because if in your head, up until this point in your life, you think that you are someone who doesn't have the capability to be different, or you think that you are someone that cannot reach new heights, I challenge you to say yes to something that may scare you, or say yes to something new. For me, I have been saying yes to opportunities and things that I may be a little bit nervous for, or I may not be ready for, because again, I know I am psyching myself out. Maybe I don't feel ready, but in my heart, I actually know that I am and I can do this thing. And speaking of identities and mindset shifts and all of these things. And like I mentioned, I started a book club for my media company, Valdez Agency, and in February we are reading The Alter Ego Effect, which is about creating an alter ego within yourself and using this person to be the one who goes after the opportunities and the things that you want, and channeling this person and this energy when you need it the most. But what I've noticed while reading this book is that you are creating this alter ego, and it may seem like you're creating this completely other person within yourself, but it's like you are using the things that are already within you and just bringing it out with this alter ego. Because once these identity shifts and this behavior change happens, you are going to realize, like, I had all these things within me all along. I just didn't know how to bring it out. The confidence is not going to come out of nowhere. It is going to come when you step into the version of yourself that is ready for these different things, that is putting themselves out there into these opportunities and just saying yes. You're going to prove all of these doubts and these negative beliefs wrong. And the people that are going to go far in life are the ones that say yes before they're ready. Then they figure everything out later. So if you want to be that person, it starts by saying yes and raising your hand even before you feel ready, because in your heart, I promise you, you are, and it is time for you to take that leap and take that step. Thanks for tuning in to Booked, Busy, and Building, where we keep it real, stay growing, and are always showing up for ourselves. Remember that you're not behind, you're in the middle of becoming, so keep building what matters, and the life you want is already yours. And until next time, stay booked, stay busy, and keep building.